All right, all right. We are. Oh no.
From Taco Bell. It's rumbling, stumbling here. All right, so it's November the 1st, 2024. Welcome back to another edition of Live
Yes.
Feed Read. I'm Paul
Wow,
Rengel.
it's November.
The Ed McMahon to my Johnny Carson, Jason Crawford, live from Tallahassee.
That's right. That's right.
So we are on the verge of election night,
It's
Tuesday,
close.
election day, Tuesday of next week. And so we, chewing the fat here around the office and the subject of, the electoral college and are you really
Mm,
voting for president came up. And I said, well, without talking about Kamala Harris or Donald Trump or Republicans
yeah.
or Democrats,
Interesting.
let's educate the people out there in TV world that they may or may not be voting for the president on Tuesday. And,
Right.
and you might say, what do you mean? Everybody's going to vote. Well, but will your vote count? And we'll explain that to you. So without
Mm.
further ado, we'll do Mr. Rogers. Welcome, neighbors. You're not voting for the president. so so put up the I sent Jason
Yeah.
a color map, and then we'll go through that quickly. Let me know when it's up.
It's up. It's up.
Oh,
No,
okay.
it's interesting because I've been hearing a lot of podcasts and stuff, and people get very heated when they're pro this side or that side, and all kinds of people vote in different ways, and they get all in the mix. And I think no one slows down to just even talk about how does this even work. And I think a lot of people misunderstand a lot of things. So I think
100%.
slowing this conversation down and having it and going, hey, how does this even work
Well,
is so
I think
useful.
people are going to be surprised that
Mm-hmm.
basically half the country is not voting for the president. But let's talk about it. So this
Yeah.
map, what you see is, of course, the United States of America, and you
Mm-hmm.
see red, which basically means that those states, and I'm generalizing, but this is in the past and what's predicted. So let's just go with it
Right.
without debate.
Sure.
Red is going to vote Republican.
Historically, sure. Right.
Right. Blue is the Democrat nominee is going to win.
Historically. Yep.
Yeah. Well, let's just go with it for purpose of
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just
All right.
echoing.
Then there's like Florida, which is really interesting, a pink.
Mm-hmm.
So what they're saying is that they're not sure right now if Harris or Trump
Mm-hmm.
is going to take Florida.
It's not solid a
Yeah,
given.
it says
Right.
leaning Republican.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So then you have the yellow or gold. Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, right?
Yes.
So, and then the light blue is also leaning towards, the Democrat Party
Right.
of
Right.
New
Also
Mexico,
noted.
Colorado, Oregon, Minnesota, and Virginia.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just assume, for purpose of our conversation, Florida's going to go red, meaning Republican, and the light blues are going to go blue.
Okay.
What happens is, and you see California says 54, Oregon says 8, Washington 12. Those are the electoral college votes that the president will receive when the elections count, when the election's over and those votes are counted, and they get that added to their total. What people don't realize is there's two states, Nebraska and Maine. You see them up there, Maine top right, and they have the little
Mm-hmm.
lines through them.
Yep.
And then
And
Nebraska
Nebraska.
has the
Yeah.
little lines through them.
Yeah.
Those are the only two states that divide up potentially their electoral college votes. The
Okay.
other 48 states, it's winner take all.
Interesting.
So let me
Interesting.
just, by way of example, are the Republicans that are in the state of California going to vote for the president?
So yes, they're gonna go to the ballot office and cast a vote. Yes.
Right. Is it
Yes.
going to count? Is it going to matter?
Only in that state?
Not at all.
Okay.
So
Okay.
California, like 48 other states, is winner take all.
Mm-hmm.
So given that the majority of people in California are going to vote for the Democrat nominee,
Right. Right. It won't
then
turn into an actual
the
vote.
Democrat nominee gets all 54 votes,
So a
54
deciding
electoral college
vote, the
votes.
electoral college votes,
Right.
right?
That's
Yeah.
all that matters. So let's
Yeah.
say, by way of
Well,
example,
yeah.
let's say for math purposes, or 60% of the people in California want the Democrat nominee,
Yeah.
and 40% want the Republican nominee, right?
Right.
Too bad for your Republicans. Your vote doesn't matter
All 54
because they're
go
getting all
one way.
54.
Right.
So, in a sense,
Hmm.
you're not electing the president at all.
So, I mean, maybe you know the answer to this, maybe you don't. I don't know. But why is it that Nebraska and Maine can do it differently than the other
Oh,
states? Is it an
oh, the
option?
states? Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah,
Okay.
100%. Yeah, I think
So
one
why
of them
don't
was
all
in
the
the
states just do it that way?
70s and the other was in the 90s where they decided, well, that's not fair, because we're really cutting out. Go to Texas. Let's just continue on. Texas has 40 votes, right? And
Yeah.
it's red. Let's say Texas is 60-40. We're
Yep.
40% of the people,
Yep.
the
Yeah.
Democrat. You got
Yeah.
no vote
Right.
because it's winner take all,
Yeah.
majority.
Yeah.
So you're not voting for president.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
it goes on. So all those red
And each
states,
state gets to decide how their electoral college participates.
well, in theory, it's winner. The majority
Mm-hmm.
rules. So if the majority of people in Florida vote for the Republican nominee, they're going to get 40 electoral college votes.
Mm.
If
Right.
the if
Okay.
Florida was to go with the majority of Democrat, then
Mm-hmm.
Harris would get 30 electoral college votes.
And is that a Florida Constitution decision
I don't
and a
know. I don't
Texas
know. It's
Constitution
not a
is okay?
I didn't dig that deep. It's just
Okay,
that's
that's fine.
48 states do winner take
Okay,
all, and
yeah,
Nebraska
yeah.
and Maine do. They
It
can
does
divide
seem quite
by 12.
sided. Like
Well,
either way you go, whether you're looking at Texas or
I'm
California,
not
it
arguing
just
that.
seems
I'm
kind of
just here,
sided.
like Mr.
Yeah,
Rogers, to welcome my neighbors and tell them
yeah.
if you're a Democrat in a red state, you're not voting for president. If you're a Republican in one of those blue states you see on that map, you're not voting
Yeah.
for president.
So I guess it's like you're voting on your state as a battleground, but if it's historically
So they're not a
red,
battleground. We'll get to that.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I
California
what
is
I
not a
mean is
battleground state. I got news for you. Donald Trump probably didn't spend a whole lot of money
on
running
Alabama.
commercials in California because it's
Yeah.
a waste of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the same note, those red states of Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, Alabama,
Alabama.
I don't believe the Harris campaign probably flooded the market with commercials there because it's a waste of money.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm.
Now you see those gold states, Nevada,
Yeah.
Arizona.
They're
The
gold.
sad thing is, in my
They're gold.
opinion,
Yeah.
that's who's going to elect your president.
Mm.
Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North
Mm.
Carolina, and Georgia.
Interesting.
Because those are what's called the battleground states. And I got news
Right.
for you. If you think we saw a lot of commercials, I can only imagine what those poor
Jeez.
people saw.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 states, based on this map, and
Mm-hmm.
it can fluctuate election to election year. But let's just
Mm-hmm.
right now, those 7 states are going to elect the president this year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, but I don't I don't want Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
Michigan deciding who's going to win. That's not
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But
You
either
know,
way,
as
but
I'm
the bottom
listening to
line is
you,
the moral of the story is that about 2/3 or 3/4 of the country are not really voting for the president in a sense.
yeah, in a
Because
sense,
if
yeah.
you're on the losing end of these states, blue or red,
Mm-hmm.
you're wasting your time.
Your vote went to the other. Yeah,
It didn't go to anybody. Your vote's
right.
just okay. There's 40%
Thank you.
California
You get a
Republican.
participation trophy. Thank
Yeah,
you for
thank
coming.
you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
But we've already decided in California who's going to be
Yeah.
get who's going to be the person we want to be president.
I
We've
mean,
already decided in Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas City, or Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Indiana, and so forth.
what would
The
stop
only
all the states from moving to that where they still have the electoral college votes, but they can be split based off of
Well, see, that
the
and to
split
me,
of vote that comes in?
that's what would be fair.
Seems like
Example,
it, yeah.
let's say there are, which there are. I got news for you. And if you go to Miami-Dade area, the South, that's heavily Democrat area.
Tallahassee historically has been, but is
Huh. Well, Hillsborough County is about 50-50.
mm-hmm.
So it would, to me, it only makes sense if, let's just say, it's a 60-40 split in
Yeah.
Florida for one side or the other, then it should be, I don't know, what's 60% of 30? 18
Well,
votes for the
50% of 30 would be
winner
15, so you'd end up with
and
somewhere.
whatever, 4 times 3, 12 for the loser.
Mm-hmm.
So then those people that are not in the majority, your vote still would matter.
Mm-hmm.
Right
Overall,
now,
in the big picture, yeah,
hey, you people in South Florida,
yeah,
your vote don't matter.
yeah,
God bless you.
yeah,
But
yeah.
and if you're the 25%, just say, in California that are voting for Donald Trump, guess what? Your vote don't matter.
Yeah,
And
I'm gonna
I
have to
don't like
look
that.
into
I
it.
like what Maine's doing. It wasn't the
Yeah,
best,
it's interesting.
you
Yeah,
know.
I think we have the technology now to like measure everybody's votes, get them all casted, and tie it one to one from here to there. I think we can do
Well,
that. I'm not.
and then
They
again,
didn't have that
that
technology back then.
people get pissy and all the fraud and there's this, that, and the other.
Well,
Nothing is ever going to be perfect. But all I'm saying is, that in this, if you're in one of those states
yeah,
and you're on the losing end of that, you're really not voting for the president of the United States. You're just
yeah, that's
not.
tough.
There's no other way to say it. So in Florida, I think now there's 1 million more Republicans registered than Democrats. It says
So I
leaning
see
red.
Hawaii. I see Hawaii on here and it's blue, but I don't see any numbers. What do they
Oh,
get?
I don't know. I didn't even notice that.
I just noticed that as we're talking. I'm like, wait a
Oh,
minute. They're there. They get a participation
they
trophy
must
too.
yeah, they get the participation award. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for
Wow,
coming.
that's a good catch. I didn't even see
Uh,
that.
it's
But
probably just too small for me
there
to,
must be a
or
tiny little one in there or something. I don't know.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
that's pretty damn funny. I
Well,
didn't even look.
I don't want
But
anybody to be disheartened by this because I think there's a nuance in what you're saying, and your vote does count. Like in the event, in this catastrophic moment, or moment where the world just changes on a flip, and California goes red because a certain number of red people showed up to vote that way. Like it's possible, but in order for those votes to be casted at all for a red candidate, they would have to win that state.
Well,
And
okay, well, TV land, we can tell Jason's voting yes for Amendment 3, the legalization of marijuana, because he has to be high right now to make that statement.
well, I'm
Because
just talking in
there's no way in
the
heck
world of
that
possibilities,
California is going to be red.
not
It ain't even
probabilities.
it ain't even going to be pink.
No, no.
But so we
No.
know Jason voted yes on the legalization of marijuana. All right.
Actually, I did
Now,
not.
but it
But
is a good
anyway,
point. There are many other issues on every ballot in
yeah,
every
yeah,
state. There's the legalization of marijuana in Florida.
yes, yeah,
There's the
yeah.
issue with abortion
You
in the
need to
state of
vote.
Florida.
Yeah.
There's a Senate race for Rick Scott versus whomever.
Mm-hmm.
There's local tax referendums here in Hillsborough County. So there are many, 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 many other reasons to go vote, and I
Mm-hmm.
encourage you to do so. The point of this is just understand, and the big picture
This
is
is your appointment reminder.
if you're looking at this map and you're the minority in one of those states that are blue or red, you're not voting for president. That's the bottom line, and Stone Cold said so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the only reason I say that is because
We know because you're
historically,
high.
no, I mean, the historically, not everybody votes. And I think maybe a lot of people don't vote because they think my vote doesn't matter. And like there's a
Well,
there
here I
It's
hear
not
you,
probable.
but that's
It's not
why.
probable,
But that's why. No, that's the gold states.
but
They're
possible.
still
Right.
toss-ups. And Florida
Yes.
theory, you see it's leaning, and then the
Yeah.
light blue. So you're
Yeah.
right. Those states are toss-ups, so to speak.
Hmm.
And so your vote does matter there because you're right. If you just think, well, the other side's going to win and you don't go, well, it ain't a
Hmm.
toss-up anymore. So I agree 100% with
Well,
what you're saying.
the data that I'm seeing suggests that like somewhere between 50 to 60 something percent of people vote. There's a whole
Well, this
bunch
one,
of people that don't.
this is, I think this is going to be probably one of those elections where
We might
more
hit
people will
80.
have voted than ever
Hmm.
before.
I
I,
agree.
I really think so, which is fine. And I
Yeah.
got, and if you don't vote, then shut up. Don't
Yeah.
don't come
Yeah.
biatching about
That's
anything.
right.
If you
That's
can't
right.
if you can't take your
That's
lazy
right.
butt to
That's
the
right.
ballot box
Yeah.
or get a vote by mail. I mean,
Yeah.
there's just no reason not to vote. And if you
For
don't,
sure.
fine. You don't want to. You don't want to participate. Don't be squawking. Don't be bitching.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the story. But
Yeah.
anyway, I don't want to take up a lot of time.
Okay.
Um,
Valid.
that's just I don't think people realize
Yeah.
when you hear you're not voting for president, they understand why or what I'm saying, and hopefully they do now because again,
Yeah.
if it's winner take all, and if you're in those states that are blue or red, statistically speaking, like Jason said,
Hmm.
the minority party is not voting for president. And if you
Yeah.
think about it, it's kind of sad.
It
I
is
just
kind
think
of sad,
I
actually.
just
Yeah.
think Maine and Nebraska got it right. I think it should
Yeah.
be split. If it's 75-25, then
Yeah.
you get the 25% and the 75%
Yeah.
of
It would be more
electoral vote.
accurate.
It seems
Would be more
it
accurate.
almost seems like common sense,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not. And guess what?
Interesting.
Nobody asked me my opinion.
Yeah. Interesting.
And
Interesting.
but that to me that would be a much fairer way to
Hmm.
conduct the election where people actually in the minority still have a say. Uh, well, uh,
Yeah.
but oh well.
Well,
All right,
here,
what
look.
else?
Let's end on a positive note. Did
All
you
right, what
do
do you got?
anything exciting for Halloween?
I passed out candy.
Yeah, yeah. Did you have
I know.
any like kids come by trick or treating and cool
Well,
costumes or
I
anything?
I live, yeah, my road is not like in a residential neighborhood
Right.
where, you go house, across the street and
Okay.
house. So
Okay.
surprisingly, I got about 30 to 40 kids because
Mm.
I'm
Oh,
on a
cool.
road, a cut through roads that,
Do you
they
hand
go
out full
Dell
size
May
candy
every
bars?
year. I got I'm set back, but they came and I gave them candy. And
That's cool.
yeah, it was funny. I have a Millie, which you guys have seen here in
Yeah.
Bailey. So they come to the door and look at them and like, wow, and I opened the door for one costume and it was the big Barney.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
so
That's
my
awesome.
bedroom, if I'm on the door, my bedroom's to the left over here, hall, and then the kitchen's over here. Bailey started running and barking in the bedroom. Millie ran and she was looking back at
With the
Barney.
zoomies,
She ran slap into the wall.
send them into a full blown panic. That's awesome.
It was
That's
funny. Yeah,
great.
Bailey barking one way. I'm like, yeah, you guys are
Yeah.
real afraid. Someone's attacking me.
Yeah.
You guys will be out in the pool. Yeah.
Well, we had an interesting community. We our neighbors texted us and were like, "Hey, everybody gathers at these people's house." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, let's do that, kids." So we get there, and there were tons of kids, tons of families. It was a potluck kind of thing that these people let their, and then everybody from the neighborhood. A lot of them have golf carts. So they have the really long driveways, so they have a tradition of doing it. And then we just drove around. So one of the neighbor guys brought an adult trick or treat bucket and was handing out trick or treats to the adults while the kids were trick or treating. And then his golf cart, the guy we were riding with, his golf cart broke down. So we ended up pushing it. His battery
Oh,
died. We
that's
ended up pushing it around the neighborhood the rest of the way,
yeah.
and the kids were laughing and singing. And I was like, you know what? This is cool. We landed in a good place up here.
Yeah, that's
So
cool. Yeah, I mean, that's
yeah,
just, it.
God is good.
I talked to Michelle, who lives in a neighborhood, and Des, unfortunately, I don't know whether it was the hurricane here. I don't know if it's
Ooh, yeah.
economics. I don't know if it's just people think the world's getting meaner and
Yeah. Yeah.
really less safe. They said attendance was way down.
Low. Yeah.
Yeah, Michelle was like, yeah, I was
Wow.
kind of sad that there was nobody, and she buys big bags because
Yeah.
we have,
Wow.
I don't want to say hundreds, but lots of kids.
Lots of kid. Big
And she's
neighborhood.
like,
Yeah.
oh, I mean, we shut it
Uh,
down early. Nobody was coming. So I don't know. Hopefully,
it's rough.
we can get
I
this
like to see community come
this
together, though. I think
yeah
that's important.
this country back on the
Yeah,
right path,
man.
regardless of who wins in the
Yeah.
next couple of days. But ain't nothing we can do
Yep.
about it but vote and
Keep
keep
moving.
working hard, keep loving the kids, keep going to
That's
church.
right.
That's
That's
about it.
right. That's
All right.
right.
Well,
That's right.
let me why don't we take us out of here?
Okay.
It's 1:22.
Yeah, man.
Let's see. The Bucks play Monday night in Kansas City. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
So we'll see
Yeah.
what happens there. And
Apparently, there's a lot of games this weekend in Tallahassee too. I was told to steer clear of the roads because they changed the one ways and blocked them off for the
oh,
traffic,
really?
and they're
Yeah.
like, you should avoid it. I'm like, okay, I will stay home.
Yeah. All right. Well, everybody get to church on Sunday. Tell Jesus thank you and get us out of here, Jason.
You got it.
Reed and Reed, it's like having a lawyer